So you've probably spent hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on your child's math education, on academies, weekly tutoring, bought every glossy workbook on the shelf in bookstores, and still your child quietly says, I'm just not good at math. And it's deeply frustrating. It's heartbreaking because deep down you wonder, where did we go wrong? And here's the truth. The path to raising MIT level math students has very little to do with worksheets or acceleration. It begins not with quote unquote drill, but with dialogue. Not with expensive programs, but with curiosity. Now, I'll preface this by saying that yes, most parents are not math professors, but that does not mean you cannot raise a mathematically powerful child. You just need the right strategy, not more spending. So expensive tutoring is not enough for your child to get into MIT. And let's be honest, I know you all, parents, want results. So you all invest in what's visible. Tutors, textbooks, summer classes. But here's the catch. Mathematical thinking is not something that is downloaded in your child's brain. It's developed. And that development generally starts before age 10. And according to decades of cognitive science and real-world case studies, it's everyday problem solving, open-ended questioning, and logical discussions that build the brain circuits for advanced math. Now I'll tell you a brief anecdote of Professor Jun. He's a math professor in South Korea who raised his daughter not with cram schools or drills, but with experiments in the kitchen and questions during walks. By age 5, his daughter wasn't just counting, she was reasoning. Instead of, let's cut the apple, he was telling her, let's divide it in half, one half. Instead of flashcards, she was using a scale to estimate weights and spot patterns. Instead of giving her answers flat out, he would ask, how would you figure this out? And by middle school, she decided on her own to study in the US. And by college, she was studying mechanical engineering at MIT. So I know this story is not very practical because not every one of you watching is a math professor. But the message that I'm trying to give you is that you don't need to be one to raise a gifted child. You just need to think like a math professor. So think like a math professor involves the following. Prioritize reasoning. Prioritize reasoning over right answers. Replacing speed drills with thoughtful questions. Let the child problem solve on their own completely instead of rescuing them from it. Is beyond just math memorization. This is a process of your child owning math. But here's a caveat. All of this fantastic way of educating math to your students assumes that you as a parent already understands the math involved. So if you don't know how to explain decimals, logarithmic equations, and they're asking you for help, you can't fake it. And telling parents to wait patiently for your child to discover the answer only works if you already know what that answer is. So what's the average parent supposed to do? Well, what you really need is a structure. Structure that supports discovery. I mentioned it briefly, but I'll say it again. Ask open-ended questions, even when you don't know the answer to. And invite your child to teach you something from school. And use daily objects like measuring cups, clocks, receipts as thinking tools instead of buying them expensive toys. And replace some study time with shared problem-solving time. And last but not least, I think this is very important. Prioritize review over preview. In other words, don't let your child rush ahead in math without having them solidify what they already know. Because the deep review builds resilience. And that's the mindset that students need, not just for SAT math, but for lifelong mathematical confidence. And this type of support and resilience is what's required even for students that are preparing for math competitions. Because pushing young students into math competitions too early, into doing hard math too soon without the right support can backfire. So let them take time to build strength, build self-trust, and also give them room for play and creativity in their childhood. So if you take one lesson from this video, let it be that the best math students are not born, they are built. Not in tutoring centers, not in accelerated programs, but in conversations, questions, and quiet moments of reflection. So be curious with their child, be present, and if you don't know the math, learn with them. And that alone may be the greatest gift you can give. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with another fellow parent who is passionate about raising their child the right way. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.